Hey, deserving listeners, it's time to continue watching The Real Housewives of Beverly Hills. Let's watch. My name is Dr. Kirk Honda. I'm a therapist and a professor. Let's watch.
In all fairness, though, when she said,
Kyle,
I'm concerned, that gives credence to what she was worried about, though.
Kyle, she should be quiet.
You know what? That's a little bit of a threat. That's really
No, it isn't. It's not a threat.
Us.
No, it's not, Dorit, because you know what? She took it to another level. It's one thing to ask and talk and say things. It's another thing to call someone a liar and talk about their health.
So for Erika, as I've been saying, it makes sense that she is very stressed out. Now, we have to wonder, and maybe y'all know more data to say one way or the other, but is Erika at least partially guilty for some of the accusations, or is she completely innocent? Or is she very guilty? You know, it's hard to know. I can't tell from this. I'm guessing there are tabloid articles looking into this. Who knows? So if she's completely innocent, which is totally possible, and people claiming that somehow just being married to someone means that you're guilty is ridiculous. You know, if my wife were embezzling money from some other business and hid that from me, how is that my fault? Like, if my wife was a very good liar, then how is it my fault? So this, guilt by being married to someone is very wrongheaded in my mind. So now you could make an accusation that, look, there were signs and you chose to look the other way. And although that doesn't mean you're incredibly guilty, it does mean that you made a choice to stay ignorant because you suspected something was going on or you were in denial or something. Okay, but I don't think any of us know enough information to know where Erika was in that situation. You could also see a situation where she did know or she did suspect and she was terrified of him. So she just didn't do anything because she's like, well, if I call it out, he's going to get me. He's very powerful. He has a lot of money. He has a lot of lawyers. He's very good at this kind of thing. So I guess I'll just be quiet because, who knows what will happen to me if I even talk to him privately about this. So I don't know if we know what's happening. If Erika is innocent, then, or at least 99% innocent, the way I would see this is that she is understandably very stressed out. Some of her friends have indicated that they are suspicious of her for no reason. Some of her friends, Dorit included, are saying, I think, understandably, look, the fact that you're being dragged through the tabloids in, some very significant ways, your husband is being accused and you're being accused of doing some horrible things to other human beings. We are worried because either one, we're going to get implicated as well, or other people will start looking at our finances, looking for, shenanigans, and we don't want that kind of attention. Also, if we don't speak out against you publicly, are we complicit, silence is violence kind of thing. And it's putting us in this really weird position. I think Dorit is saying, Erika, I understand that you're very stressed out and I empathize with you and I'm with you on that. And it's also okay that we are stressed out as well. Not as stressed out as you are, of course, but we're a little stressed out. So that's okay. And if Erika is innocent, then all the stress is causing her to be much more self-focused. It looks like she has a patterned way of coping with stress by pushing people away, maybe even self-destructing on a certain level. Like, look, if you're going to bully me or you're going to accuse me of something, I'll give you something to accuse me of. So people are like that. They learned when they were young that it's you're going to be accused of things regardless, and so you might as well be in a power position where you're asking for it, essentially. People will sometimes do that. She seems to exhibit a little of that. She also seems to be have a pattern response of extreme hostility, and not extreme, but mild to moderate aggression and hostility under social pressure. There's another possibility that she is partially guilty, either internally or legally, or both, and her way of heading it off at the pass in terms of accusations is to get real aggressive. I think I said this before in a previous video that, if you come to a kid and they took a cookie out of the cookie jar in the kitchen, you come in to the kitchen and the cookie jar is on the ground, it's smashed, and you're like, okay, who smashed this? And the kid's like, it wasn't me. And as the parent, you're like, I think it was you because you're the only one in here and you kind of do this sort of thing. And the kid goes, oh, I can't believe that you're accusing me, and gets really angry and stomps off. Well, we know that when we are being accused, and if we get real angry when we're being accused of something, then maybe that will help us to get away with it. So is that what's happening? I don't know. Let me know what you think in the comments.
I don't think it's fair that Erika's threatening Sutton. It sounds like she's saying that those of us that have had doubt or questions have the danger of being sued. Is that something that we all have to be worried about?
I'm about to really lose my on all of you.
Nope.
Yeah. Regardless of what the situation is, Erika is probably at a 9 out of 10 on the distress scale. So trying to have a rational conversation with her, or have a heart-to-heart, eye-to-eye, is probably not possible. So if I were anyone in this room, I'd be like, okay, let's take a break. Maybe we can revisit this after her adrenaline has come down. So, and she's announcing that. She's like, that's a helpful thing for her to say. She's like, because she probably wants to attack, and she's like, I'm not going to attack, but I'm going to tell everyone, look, back off, or something bad is going to happen.
Hold it in.
You ever call me a liar again? I'm coming for you.
I mean, it's fair for her to be hurt and angry if she is not lying and she's being accused of lying, for sure. The way that Sutton was going about it was, from what I could tell, assuming a lot of things and jumping to conclusions. It'd be fine if Sutton was like, oh, well, I mean, who knows? If she, if you're Sutton, you're thinking, well, she could have known things about this, about the crimes, and she could be lying, because that's what you would do under the circumstances if you were accused of such things. Like, normal people would lie about it. Not that that's good, but especially if you're capable of committing those crimes, then you're capable of lying about it afterwards, obviously. So, she could be lying, but to assume that she's lying. Now, Sutton knows Erika a lot better than we would, so maybe she has reasons to believe that. But so yeah, it makes sense that Erika would be hurt and angry. I don't know if that's the best way to communicate that. Now, as I will often wonder, is what's the goal? Is Erika's goal to preserve her relationship with Sutton? Is it or is it to preserve her relationship with everyone else in this room? Because sometimes I wonder if any of these people really care about the other people on the show. It seems like sometimes they do, for sure. But with Erika, I don't know if that's clear. I would assume that she wants approval and wants to have good relationships with them. Maybe not with Sutton. I don't know. If you don't care about your relationship with Sutton, then yeah, burn that bridge and just tell someone to back off. But if you're trying to make things work eventually, then there are probably other ways to communicate how you feel that would facilitate change in the other person.
A lot, and I do not ever recall anything going off the rails like this.
I haven't threatened you, I promised you. I made a promise to you.
The souffle is probably falling in the kitchen.
There's no threat, honey. It's a f***ing promise.
Okay.
On the brighter side, there's more leftovers for me.
Erika seems comfortable in this place, which lends itself to the hypothesis, who knows, that she needed this mode when she was younger, maybe much younger, due to threats happening to her, or danger, or lack of safety, or even modeling to her, people showing her that this is how you stand up for yourself or something. So I wonder if she didn't have the need for this mode and the development of this mode if she would communicate differently. I'm just trying to think what I would do in this situation. Well, honestly, probably what I would do is, well, one, I wouldn't be on a reality TV show because that would terrify me. Two, I would probably avoid the whole thing because that's my style, which isn't healthy. But if I was at my best, I would say to Sutton, look, it hurts my feelings that you think that I'm lying. I'm going through some really tough times, and I thought you were my friend. And you're not just some random person on the internet. I thought you had my back, and I've opened up to you in the past, and I feel like I deserve better as a friend. I feel like as the first sign of difficulty, you're abandoning me. And that was one of my big fears, was as these accusations started to come out, I was thinking, is that, who are my real friends and who are not my real friends? And I kind of feel like you're showing that you're not really my friend, that I'm just like instrumental to you. I'm only a friend if I'm useful to you. And as soon as I'm not useful, I'm no longer your friend. I have to say, if one of my friends, you included in the past, if you'd gone through something like this, even if I kind of thought that you were, a little shady about it, I would care about you and I would want to support you. And I would like to think, I'd try to hold out, give you the benefit of the doubt, which I don't feel like you're doing. I feel like you just without any data, you just turned on me, which doesn't really indicate that you care.
If I'm going to be threatened and all of that, I am not doing it. No, yeah, Vi is right. I'm not going to be threatened. No way.
Sutton.
No way. No. I am not used to people like that, and that will make me leave.
Hold on.
Hold on.
Bye.
Hold on.
Oh, no. Nope.
So this happens frequently with Sutton. Something happens that she starts, and then the other person gets triggered, and we saw this with Crystal as well, and then Sutton gets real upset and leaves. I think Sutton is very upset in this moment. I think she is having a high distress moment as well. And then she's like, I'm leaving. And in those moments, at least the way that I would see the situation is, yeah, go. I mean, Erika, even though everyone's like, Erika, stop it, she's just continually attacking Sutton, which one could argue is at least somewhat justified, but at the very least, it's not changing. And so it would make total sense that Sutton would leave, at the very least, to just put an end to this current fight. And then, and so in those moments, I'm thinking, okay, good. You just, cut your losses, leave. But inevitably, the others will say, no, don't leave. And I'm thinking, why? Like, what? Is there something that necessitates that Sutton stay? Is it that they're that walking out it means something? The impression I get is either it's related to the show, like they can't have people walking off the show because then there's no content anymore. But the other hypothesis I had was that they have a rule in their group that says you can't just abandon, you have to stay, because if you leave, that means that we're not really close or something. And this is, bigger than your current feelings, is the impression that I get. Does that make sense?
What, I'm going to sit there and be threatened? No way.
If you've got the balls to sit here and say it, then you've got the balls for me to push back.
Agreed.
And if you want to get up and walk out and have a tantrum, then you go do that.
Y'all, she's threatened me.
That's up.
I'm not
I get
used
it.
to that at all. I know. What the
And good on Garcelle for listening and saying, I don't know where Garcelle is headed with this, but if I were there, I'd just be like, yeah, I get it. It hurts. I get both of them, I think. If Erika is telling the truth and she wasn't complicit or knowledgeable or a participant in the crimes, I get both of them. It's a stressful situation. Well, if Erika is innocent, I don't get Sutton's assumption that there's something shady going on with Erika. That I don't get. But I do get Sutton's reaction in this moment. She is being attacked. She is being threatened. And even though everyone's like, hey, dial it back, she just continued to threaten.
I know.
No.
What I saw with Erika was the nastiest thing I've ever seen.
Everyone pushed Sutton to be honest.
Not a
Response
thing.
was exactly how I would respond. Be like, you call me a liar, and that's what happens. Like,
That's right.
Interesting that Crystal is, like, yeah, if I was in your shoes, I would have done the same thing. I think because Crystal has been there with Sutton before and is biased because of that. So, because I can't really see Crystal acting the way Erika was in that moment. I don't know. Maybe she could. So I'm guessing Crystal is affected by her history with Sutton in seeing who was okay and who wasn't. All right, well, that does it for that episode of Psychology in Seattle. Everyone out there, please take care of yourself because you deserve it. You really, really do.